Hello, everyone. I'm Lissy, and I'm here with Lyra. Welcome to the cottage. This is our Heated Rivalry Unofficial podcast, and today we are going to talk about episode 4 of season 1, titled Only Rose. And I think my first question about this episode is we're picking up right after the drama of that Vegas scene in episode 2, because, yeah, we had like a little detour with Scott and Kip, but that's over with. We're picking up really in Shane and Ilya's story after that scene in Vegas. And they just went right back to what they were doing before. It's like that dramatic, we didn't even kiss, and Ilya just sitting there staring into the abyss, like drama. Is over with. They just went back to what they were doing because men are really, really bad at emotions.
Right back to business. The business of doing each other.
The business of doing each other. Yeah, we even get a little montage at the beginning that showcases how they're in the business of doing each other.
Yeah.
Complete with that scene where they're like Ilya's checking Shane into the boards and then they're having sex and you cut back and it's so funny.
Yeah, no, we passed like a lot of time because you started summer 2014, summer 2015, summer 2016, and then before we end up in October 2016. And the entire time they're still texting, sleeping together, training, playing. Shane's filming a copious amount of
Oh my
commercials, which good for
gosh, so
you.
many. He's also super awkward in every one of those commercials. I
Who
think that
wouldn't be?
the montage is supposed to show you a couple of different things.
Tell
First
me.
that Yuna, Shane's mom, is like getting him into all of these commercials, and he's a little awkward in them. Like I think they come up well, but like I think you're meant to see that he's a little awkward. Like that's not his thing. He's not
Yeah.
comfortable in them. Um, then I think you're also supposed to see that Ilias kind of goes from really partying hard and like sort of at the end of the montage, we are seeing him even like ignore a girl because he's on the phone.
Ooh, losing interest.
I think it's probably I think we're supposed to think it is like a little self awareness. He's
Mhm.
getting to a point where he's realizing that he wants more with Shane, even though I don't think he wants to name it.
Yeah.
So they're both in this is a miscommunication fake episode.
God,
That
yes.
would, like in any miscommunication fake, be really solved if they talk to each other, or at least it would be made better if they talk to each other.
100%.
So of course they don't talk to each other.
Nope.
But yeah, the beginning. I also think the montage. It's a long term thing, but the montage I think also shows that even though in there are points where it feels like the relationship is affecting the game, but
Mhm.
not really in a big picture kind of way because Shane is winning even though he's sleeping with Ilya all of these years, and Ilya won even though he was sleeping with Shane before and had broken it, quote unquote, broken it up with Shane after Sochi.
Yeah.
Um, so I think we're also supposed to get from this that even though in specific games the relationship they're having and how they're doing might affect them, big picture, they managed to keep their relationship out of hockey and it never really affected. It's not like, oh, I Shane is letting Ilya win or like whatever. They're not affecting each other like that, big picture.
I mean, if anything, Hayden points out you play better
Yeah, yeah,
after
yeah.
you go and visit your, Lily or whatever. So he plays better,
Yeah, yeah.
a little more focused.
I
But yeah, I
also
like
think
how all the time passed. Like, and it could have been fixed if they actually just talked to each other because they obviously like each other.
no, but like I don't think there was anything to fix for them at the beginning, even during the miscommunication, because they didn't really want more or they weren't aware that they wanted more. They didn't think they were allowed more. So I don't
Mm.
think that's where the miscommunication is after that scene in Boston where Ilya makes the tuna melt. I think before that they were more or less on the same page in that they were having sex, they were having fun, they were like looking at the calendar, both of them texting each other like flirty things. I think in a way probably becoming friends even though they didn't realize, because when you spend so much time with someone, I mean, you become friends. Like
Yeah.
it kind of happens that they thought they were just having sex. This is just sex, and then you sort of realize by the time we get to that tuna melt scene that they know a little more about each other than they probably admit, and that they want to know more about each other because that scene sees them like asking each other questions.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. There's a difference between hanging out, texting each other, having sex, doing like games, practicing, all that stuff. That's impersonal. When they sat down with each other and they were just talking about things or random things, it makes it more real. It crosses the line. And then I keep I've been thinking about why like Shane got up and was like, I can't do this
No,
anymore.
no, but like that's the end of the
That's
episode.
not
Don't go
that's
there
not
yet.
the end. That
No,
is
that's like the
not the
middle.
end.
But like, I don't want to go there because there's so much before that.
Is
So
there though?
there is, because I think we still gotta discuss things like
Like what?
Svetlana and Hayden in the context of there's a lot to discuss. Like if we're trying to go
Whatever.
chronologically, Lyra, please
I
stay in
guess.
topic, please. Yeah, because I think we also gotta discuss sort of like the way this episode frames the the people around Shane and the people around Ilya, because I think this is an episode that really steps back a little. Um, we saw mostly them in episodes 1 and 2. And this episode is still mostly them, but I think it pulls back a little. It gives you more of Hayden than we've seen before. It gives you a little more Svetlana. It gives you an explanation from Ilya of what she means to him. It gives you a little more of interaction between Shane and both his parents at the same time. So you're getting like glimpses of how the people around them understand the Jane and Lily thing, like what people around them are seeing. And I think you also get a sense of Shane's support system in comparison to Ilya, which he doesn't really have a support system. He's got problems and he's got a friend who like is close but not really, like because they if they are not to like at the end she's like, oh, she doesn't have that much time. She's got this fancy job, and he doesn't seem like that bothered by it. He kind of takes like, ah, she's my friend, and she'll be there if I need her, kind of way. But like, it's not like he seems as attached. Or maybe it's just personality.
Or maybe
Um,
that's just the way he is. He knows
yeah,
that she'll be there for him when it matters and everything else is just confetti.
yeah. But like, he seems like to be a person that just in general doesn't have as much support system as Shane. Shane, I think from the that scene with Hayden, which is hilarious. They only had money for one kid because we never saw the other kid.
And not even for the entire time. We saw the kid inside, in his arms, and then Hayden yelling at his two other children.
Babies are hard, okay? Babies are hard to film with. I understand. Babies are really, really hard. Yeah, but like we also get a couple of comments about Hayden's wife that are supposed to be there to make you understand that Shane is also close to Jackie, Hayden's wife. Like, oh, you got to 5 in the swear jar, like curse 5 times. That's what I'm supposed to message Jackie. Like all of these things that give you
Or
an idea.
even Uncle Shane, here you go, handing the baby over. It does go to show you that he has a life outside of everything that's happening with Ilya, but also outside of hockey. It makes him a more well rounded character. I do have a question though. You mentioned that this time um gives us an understanding of how the people surrounding Shane and Ilya see the whole Jane and Lily thing. Well, then how do they see it?
I mean,
Explain.
not that they see it. Like, we get in this episode a mention from Svetlana about this
Mhm.
Lily girl that he's been messaging for years.
Mhm.
And we see Shaden mention, no, Jane, Svetlana mentions Jane, and Hayden mentions Lily, which kind of shows you that they think they're being like sly, like they think they're hiding this thing. But like at this point, the only thing saving them is that they have each other in their phones by other names. Because if not, they would have been found out already. So
Mhm.
kudos to Ilya for like being like Lily, even though Lily and Jane are really, really easy names to decode if anyone had two brain cells to rub together. I'm not gonna say Svetlana should have figured it out because I don't think she's in the day to day of Ilya
Yeah.
enough. But Hayden, you have the all the pieces of the puzzle, because it's not that just Shane goes missing when they're in Boston. It's that he goes missing when Boston is in Montreal. And Hayden never. Like, but
Honestly,
to be
I wouldn't
fair,
have caught it. I would have minded my business. I'd be like,
he's busy. He's gonna have his fourth kid. Four kids.
yeah,
Four. Like,
that's a
when
lot.
Shane's like, again, I was like, I know that was a little rude, but I was thinking, again.
Oh yeah, 4 kids is a lot.
And how
Also,
old
his
is
poor
it?
wife. His wife is like taking care of those 4 kids. He's like out there playing like,
At least one of them are like, the girls are twins. So it's not four pregnancies, it was three. At
thank
least there's that.
God.
But like, I will say that, how old is, like, they're supposed to be, like, I don't know, they're like
Yeah.
24, 25. Like, Hayden, four kids. Like, I hope you did get that vasectomy for
Oh
me,
my
for Jackie, for
God. Maybe he's playing just to like get a raise and like
he's
support his kids.
he's got kids to feed, man. And he's not even like a star. He's like a normal, like, mid-range player. So he's got mouths to feed, okay?
Jesus Christ, Hayden. Hayden. But I want to say for Svetlana, that conversation that she has with Ilya in the car, she's clocking that there's something different. She's like noticing his small behaviors. And okay, maybe they don't spend all their time together, but they've spent enough time with each other where she notices the small changes, the small hurts. Because I think for Ilya, it is about quality over quantity when it comes to the people near him and close to him and surrounded by him. But there's also this very real thing that you see in this episode that Ilya doesn't have a lot of people in his life, because if he does have people in his life, to like people that really, really know him, then they're gonna have to figure out about the dad and then the mom and then the brother and like all those stuff. And I think Ilya, he's not ready, and he just doesn't want to share this with anyone. That's why it makes it so special when Shane sees any of these parts, because Ilya's not letting anybody see those, not even Svetlana, even though Svetlana knows Ilya's dad.
Yeah, I think this episode, you could probably say, as you made a good point, that they're both isolating themselves, and in a
Mm-hmm.
way that the only one who's kind of seen through who the other one is are the two of them. Like, Shane is seeing more of Ilya than anyone else, and Ilya seeing more of Shane than anyone else. We even get that conversation with Shane's parents when the mom's like, I don't want you to lie. That's not who you are. That is supposed to be, like, I think, funny, because, like, he is actively lying to them all the time, even though, even within that conversation, Shane's dad gives him a good opening to be like, is there something you want to talk about? Is there something you want to tell us? They both look like they'd react well to whatever he's going to say. And Shane just doesn't, can't. And at that point, I think he can't because I think, obviously, I don't think he's ready to accept that he's gay at that point. So what
Mm-hmm.
could he confess? He could confess the thing with Ilya, but, like, I think that thing is bigger than being gay for him. Like, when he can say, "Hey, I'm gay," but, like, "Hey, I'm having sex with this particular person," is a bigger deal, like a bigger scandal in his mind. So
Mm-hmm.
if he's not ready to put it into words that he is gay, what could he tell his parents then? I'm sleeping with Ilya? No, he's not gonna say that. So there's nothing he can say.
Yeah,
Yeah. And
pretty
then,
much.
but yeah, like, Shane is also better, quote unquote. I don't know if we can say it was Shane, but he has a friend on the team, that seems closer to him than Ilya on his team. It's, to your point, it's probably fair to say maybe Ilya is isolating himself, or, like, having casual friends, because he's got friends enough that he can be like, let's go to a club. But not friends like the people clocking it. Well, we see a couple of comments from Cliff about, in other episodes, about the Jane, this girl making you blush. But they don't seem to be as close to Ilya as Hayden, like Uncle Shane, going
Yeah.
whatever, knowing the wife and all of that. Ilya doesn't seem to have that.
Yeah, it is also um the saying to be loved or is to be seen, or to be seen is to be loved. Yeah, being seen by those around you, like the good parts of love, but then that ugly stuff, it's terrifying. It really, really is terrifying. And I do like before we jump into the whole Ilya's house and everything that follows after that, I did want to mention one part that disturbed me, okay? Disturbed me. It's about Hayden, okay? Fine, you're gonna have your time, blah, blah, blah. But two things, okay? Two things. You're sharing a room with Shane. Lizzie, this is a serious offense. Dang it! Why does my computer keep doing that?
It's
If you
celebrating Hayden's two times.
yeah, okay. If you're listening instead of watching, it's basically when you have a Mac and you do specific symbols, it does graphics. Okay, but back to Hayden and his woes. Hayden really, okay, they have two beds. One is Shane's, of course, and he's putting his maleta, his like the suitcase on the bed. Okay,
and,
okay,
uh,
on the
and
bed.
his
And wait,
shoes.
wait, wait. And then he goes and lays down. Okay, so I thought he put the suitcase on his bed. Okay, so it's like, okay, that's his bed. He's putting it on there because I personally like having two beds when I go somewhere, and they give me two beds because one bed is my luggage, clothes, blah 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 bed, and the other one's that actual sleeping bed.
Right.
Oh
Yeah.
no. Hayden then lays down in the other bed, claiming both beds, and then he has his shoes? Uh-uh. Look, I know stuff is tough for you at home with like the three children and one on the way, but this kind of behavior, unacceptable.
I mean, but like, let's be fair. Stuff is hard at home for Jackie. He's got three children. She's pregnant again, and he's
Yeah.
on the road the
Yeah, poor
entire
Jackie.
time.
Okay,
So,
Hayden has no excuse. Why are you using two beds? Why do you got your maleta on one and then you got your shoes on the other one? Lizzie, I had to stop what I was watching and I had to rewind because I had to see it because it was for like a split second. I had to see if that man was wearing shoes on the bed.
but also you got four kids, and why do you really need to like? He made a joke about masturbating, and like, why are you doing, Hayden? Like, you just you're getting enough. Trust me. Are you gonna call your wife?
I think if anything, he said it to make Shane feel a little bit more normal about going out because Shane stopped there in the door in his nice little outfit. Like,
So
I am gonna
awkward,
go
baby.
out. And so awkward, baby. But you don't have to explain. But I'm so glad that you have friends that you can share these bits of yourself. I think Hayden, to his credit, was just trying to make it less awkward. Like, go and do your thing. Because Shane got scared. He was like, oh my God, he knows I'm going to do a thing. You're not hiding it, okay? As well as you think you are.
Yeah,
But yes,
yeah,
the real offense of this episode was Hayden and his shoes and the maleta on the bed.
yeah.
Okay, now we could go forward to
Okay, we
Ilya's
can go. No, no,
house.
I still have a thing to say about Hayden. Like in that scene in the
Oh,
aquarium, in that scene of the aquarium, Shane says, "We both have to make your wife happy now." Because when
wow.
Hayden's trying to set him up, and it's so funny because like it's such a the reaction feels very true to anyone who's friends with a couple. So
Yeah.
I like that because it feels very realistic.
Yeah.
Um, and I think it shows also that uh Shane is very close to Hayden, but his wife too. And I
Mm-hmm.
think we can assume that he's close to Hayden because Hayden push and push and push and push. Because I don't think Shane also makes friends easily.
Oh,
So
yeah.
if he has a friend, I think we have to give Hayden a little credit here that he has a friend because Hayden wanted to be friends with Shane.
Yeah,
So
but he lost some points for those shoes and the
he lost
maleta.
and also for like the four kids at like 25, my dude.
God,
Like,
yes. Let's
and then
give it a break here.
putting pressure on Shane is like, when are you gonna have your kids? Hello,
This is your
take a step
problem,
back. Take a step back. Oh,
man.
okay. Now we can talk about. I mean, I think when we get to the scene in Ilya's house, in the book it's an apartment, but I think clearly it's a house here. I think by the time we get there, they are emotionally in very different places.
Tell me more.
I don't think it's fair to say that Ilya at that point understands fully how he feels about Shane, but I think he does want more. than what they've had up to that point. He clearly planned the evening. He 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 had stuff. He bought ginger ale because he knows that's what Shane. He
You
put
think
it
he
in the
bought it? It's
yeah.
always
He
been there.
well, since to every time Shane's coming, like he had the ingredients for two tuna molds. He was like all casual, like I'm gonna make myself one. It's not a bother. But like this feels like planned. Like he planned all of this. He wanted to invite Shane to stay over, and he also wanted to have a conversation about their sexuality. I don't think he approached it the right way, but he tried. That's what he was trying to do. Like the best intentions, the best laid plans of men and mice and everything. He was trying. And I think he starts trying the moment Shane gets there. Cause like there was no need to open the door shirtless and like all like
Shirtless with his chanclas.
yes.
And don't take off your shoes. Yes, take off your shoes when you're entering somebody's house. I don't know. I'm getting old.
No, I get it. I think Shane is also probably the kind of person who takes off his shoes or like who wants you
Mm-hmm.
to take off his shoes in his house, which is why he asked. But yeah, Ilya had a plan from the beginning, and the plan seemed to be open the door shirtless, distract Shane with my sex appeal. Because like even though he made a joke about like Mr. Real Estate when Shane was like, "Oh, this house is nice," because Shane is the type of person who notices that. Ilya's like, "No, let's have sex first, distraction." So then he's
Yeah.
happy post orgasm, and I can ask him to stay. Because men,
Bro.
because do you agree that that seemed to be the plan? Like he seemed like he had planned it.
I don't know. I didn't really think that at all, if I'm being honest. I thought it was like maybe just another one of their hookups. And then he just saw him there. He was like, just stay.
No,
Stay.
well, I mean,
Also, a midday nap. Oh, delicious, girl.
in
Midday
the
nap
book,
with a cuddle?
he does plan it. Um,
Oh.
there's a
I
lot
didn't
of
clock it like that at
yeah,
all.
there's a lot of planning that goes into it, which is why I'm saying
Nerd.
to that point. I don't think he could have told you, "Hey, I'm in love with this dude." Fully, but I think he was self-aware enough to know that he wanted more than just like a couple of hours, and he engineered that so it could happen.
Question then. What was the point of getting on the conversation about the sexuality for
I
Ilya then?
I mean, I don't think we have a clear answer for that in the book. Like the book goes between point of view. So when we're in Shane's point of view, we don't really know what Ilya is
Mhm.
thinking. But I think it was his way of. I think he's seen Shane struggle with his sexuality. He probably thinks, hey, if I make it clear I'm bisexual, maybe it'll be easier for him to tell me he's gay. Because he's seen, I think Ilias is just a very perceptive person. Like
Yeah.
he's seen a lot of Shane's struggles, and he wants to help him, like maybe create an environment where it's easy for Shane to open up. I don't think he does a good job of it, but I do
Mm.
think he's clocking Shane's whole deal, and like in Ilias' interest in Shane builds up to this moment. He's watching that I think it's supposed to be a documentary of Shane in his cottage. Uh, and
Oh
he's like, this
yeah.
is so boring. And he's like, yeah, I can tell you're bored, Ilya. Like that
You're
is
so bored. You're locked in,
and then
girl.
he gets kind of upset. Like we see Ilya's jealousy a lot in this episode, but I think he gets kind of upset when Svetlana even suggests that Shane is hot because he turns off the TV right away. He's like, Shane is there doing a yoga pose. He's watching. Then Svetlana turns around and she's like, oh, he's hot. He's like, TV off. You don't get to see him. Because he's petty like that. But
I can
yeah,
say that. But so I was gonna say back to the sexuality conversation that they have. So it was less about finding labels and establishing labels for them or for the show to establish labels. It was more of like creating a space for Shane to maybe feel comfortable
yeah,
talking about like his sexuality, because this episode um it made it clear that Ilya is still sleeping with other people and he's sleeping with other women, and Shane wasn't until this conversation.
yeah. I think poor Shane reacts really, really badly to the whole thing. Like we can break it down because I think yeah, the book makes it clear that Ilya planned this to the point where he wants Shane to stay. He asks him to stay. When he sees Shane sort of hesitating a little, he adds like, "I'm not done with you," to bring it back to like a place that Shane
Mm.
understands. Ilya's not asking him to stay because of that. He wants Shane to stay. But when he sees Shane like panic a little bit, he's like, it's the same thing after they exchanged first names. He calls him Shane, and Shane calls him Ilya. And you can see Shane panic, and Ilya can see Shane panic, and then he tries to backtrack and call him Hollander. Doesn't work, but he's at every moment during the entire afternoon trying to not spook Shane. It's like he's like, because I think he's perceiving Shane's inner struggles and is trying to make
Hmm.
Shane comfortable with the whole thing. Again, I don't necessarily think he did it so badly. I just don't think Shane was ready to face it. And if he were ready to face it, like because we know he will with Rose, I think it might have been just too hard to do it with Ilya because this is too Ilya's too involved in this.
I will admit I had a little trouble understanding why Shane got up after they said each other's names during sex and he like because I was thinking it could be a misunderstanding fic where Shane realized, oh my god, I want more with this person and they don't want more, so let me break it up. Or was it this is getting too real? I haven't like grasped my me being gay, so I'm gonna back up. Is that what it is? The second one?
Yeah, I think it's more the second one, but I don't necessarily think even like in the book there's a little bit of an internal monologue when
Mhm.
for from Shane because that scene is from Shane's point of view and we see Shane thinking about when Ilya asks him about girls, he starts thinking about his experiences with girls and how he's never really had great sex with girls and then he has a moment where he's like I've never had like such a good experience like Ilya and I don't really want other experiences.
Mm.
And then all of those things after he thinks that, like after you realize something, you are just panicking and you're trying not to react too much to this because
Ah.
he's kind of realizing things. And I think there are a lot of things that happen that the show actually changes some things. In the book, they don't usually have sex face to face. Um, so
What?
yes, they don't have sex like looking at each other
It's
most of
too
the time.
intimate.
Right. And then this is one of the first times they do. And Ilya specifically in the post asks him, I want to see you or I want to see you. And stares at him like the whole time. And Shane gets spooked because it's a combination of things. The intimacy of like looking at him when they're having sex. Of hearing his name because I think when you're calling each other by your last name, there's a level of detachment there. Like I can
Mhm.
keep telling myself this is just casual, if we're
Yeah.
using our last names and if it feels like there's a moment in the book where Shane says that if he's not looking at Ilya when they're having sex, he can imagine it's anyone.
Oh,
It
wow.
doesn't necessarily have to be Ilya, but like he
Oh.
can't avoid it when they're looking at each other. And so I think all of those things hit Shane in the same moment and then he just panicked like when he gets up he even apologizes and he doesn't say I don't want you but he says I can't do this because he can't handle like everything he's feeling and Ilya tries to be like Hollander this
It
is
was
nothing.
basically
Ca-
cálmate, está
calma
bien. Cal
calm down like breathe and Shane just can't um and then he runs away straight into Rose, and then we have the miscommunication part and the jealousy of it all. Um, yeah.
Yeah.
I but like now that you say that, I find it really interesting that you didn't clock the recent change because I know we talked about this before about this episode being so pivotal in Shane's understanding of his sexuality. Um,
I think it's honestly because of the way that romances have, at least the way that I've experienced romances. It's been very much this, the freak out is due to the relationship. Instead, here in Heated Rivalry, the freak out is due to his internal world being questioned and it's reshaping right there in those couple of seconds, and he just can't handle it. So it's a freak out of the self instead of a freak out about their relationship. Like, it could be a tiny bit about the relationship, but it's more about him, and that's why I had trouble, because I was like, it could be either or.
I think it's a little bit about the relationship too, because I think it would all be easier for Shane if he'd fallen in love with someone outside of hockey. If he'd fallen in
Mhm.
love with someone that he could, not that I think at this point he can put it into words that he's fallen in love with Ilya, but like if he was having this relationship with someone outside of hockey, as the other books in the Game Changers series do, um, it would be really easy for Shane, especially with him having supportive parents and a best friend. I think it would be easier for him to be like, "Hey, I'm gay and I'm dating this person." Uh, the problem is that I
Mm.
think so much of his sexuality, because Ilya and Shane started like, think of them as high school sweethearts with hockey in the middle, because they started
Mm.
uh having sex like they were 18, 19, like they were very young. So so much of Shane's experience with his sexuality is about Ilya. So I don't think Shane in his mind can separate it. I think maybe up to that point he thought he was attracted to women and Ilya. And then he's getting to a point where he's realizing he might not be attracted to women. And then Ilya just, to be fair, they don't communicate well. Ilya changes, like, I don't think getting mad at Shane is valid, because like Ilya changes all the rules on him without warning. Um, Invites him to stay. Um, is like really soft, like it's making him
Here's your ginger
food.
ale. You want a tuna melt?
Here's your ginger ale. Also, the I'm pretty sure we're supposed to understand that the clothes Ilya throws at Shane are his. So Shane is wearing Ilya's clothes when they're sitting in, because he's wearing black and he wasn't wearing black when he came in. He was wearing a white
I didn't
t-shirt.
clock that.
That the white t-shirt was fitted. The black t-shirt that he's wearing when they're in the house is like bigger.
Yeah.
So I think it's supposed to be Ilya's clothes that he's wearing.
Hmm.
And then there's a lot of intimacy, and they're having conversations like, "What is your favorite place to play on the road? Like, what are you gonna do next? Where's your team going next?" Um, Not
Wait.
normal conversation. They also, I don't know if it's an Easter egg or it's a character we're gonna see in season 2. They mentioned Ryan Price. In that moment when they're talking, it's like they have a little short convo that I think goes pretty much like in the book about Ryan Price, who is one of the main characters in another one of the books.
Oh.
Um, and Ilya says that he played with Brian Price for one season in Boston, and then they talk about how well they know him, not well. They move on from Brian Price right away, but they're having like a normal conversation, trying to keep their distance because they're sitting as far apart on the couch as they possibly can
Oh my
at
god,
the beginning.
yes.
So awkward because they don't know how to have
Like you
casual
said, the
conversations.
rules have changed. I do have a question for you, because you mentioned people getting mad. Are people mad at this interaction and how Shane got up and like left? Because
I
I
mean,
mean,
I
panic
don't
is panic.
I haven't like I'm trying really hard to do this thing where I don't look at other people's opinions, even though sometimes they pop up on social media for me. But I don't go on rabbit holes anymore of what other people are thinking, because
But
like
when
if
you did,
no, I not right now. When the show was coming out, I remember when
mhm.
that this episode came out and we hadn't seen the next one. There were comments about how Shane was being unfair and how Shane um like Ilya did all of this and Shane just left. And I think obviously I think Shane feels guilty. He will feel guilty about it. He'll apologize for it next episode. But I also think it's kind of normal because they both do this thing where um the miscommunication comes from their different issues. But yeah, Ilya's throwing just too much at Shane, who is on the spectrum and like very structured. It's maybe if you threw one thing at him, but like it's like a whole flood of things. He can't process so much change at the
Yeah.
same time, and like he needs a little space. And then he really processed badly because he jumps to Rose, but like he's trying, and
Yeah.
And Ilya's trying to take a step forward without putting it into words. Because, I mean, maybe if he'd put it into words, Shane would have understood what he wanted. Because if
Uh-huh.
we're being fair, Shane was the one who kind of wanted more in the episodes we'd seen before. He was the one that almost sent,
Yeah.
we didn't kiss, we didn't even kiss. So maybe if he'd found words, it would have shocked Shane less than so many actions that he, like, as an anxious person, there's kind of nothing worse than having to interpret all of these mixed signals
Yes.
from a person who's like giving you this, another giving you this, and you're like, but how am I supposed to interpret this? And if
Mhm.
Ilya's not giving him words, Shane is like, what am I doing? What is
So
this?
like Shane is interpreting at that moment, he's interpreting their relationship through the old parameters that they had. And then Ilya comes and then different things are happening and he's like, "Wait, I have these old parameters that I'm looking at. Do I have to do new ones?" Yeah, and the thing is, Ilya wouldn't have been in that place to actually be a little bit more clear because he's really deep into everything that's happening with his dad and the fact that he is away from his dad, not being able to care for his dad, and his brother is not there, even though he's the one that should be.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
there's guilt.
yeah, there are a lot of like Ilya's daddy issues play a lot. We see his dad at one point, I think during the montage at the beginning, and Ilya's there and like giving him a glass of water and the pills and whatever. I think it's supposed to be when he's in Russia for one of the summers. But like, yeah, Ilya's family issues play a big role in how he relates and how he puts a distance between everyone. Like in this episode, he takes a call when they're on the couch, and like his father is like very confused. His father has dementia, and he is paying his brother like money to take care of his dad, and his brother is not there. I think we're supposed to interpret that Ilya's dad, like, he feels guilty, and we'll see that again when we get
Yeah.
to when his dad passes away in episode 5. He feels guilty for not being there. Um, but I think it's a weird guilt, but because we've also seen enough of Ilya's dad to understand that he's not exactly like a great dad. Um,
Yeah.
so it's a little bit of a mixed emotion because this was not like, this is a person you could never satisfy. This is a person who was never proud of you. You were the number one pick in the draft, and he was still talking trash about you. And at some point during that conversation on the couch, he tells Shane about finding another regular woman to sleep with. He's like, but you know me, I'm lazy. That sounds to me like parroting his dad's words. Um, when because his dad calls him lazy in the first episode when he's talking to the GM. That sounds to me like
Hmm.
something he's internalized that his dad tells him that
I didn't
he's
even think of
lazy.
that.
Because it's the same thing the dad says in episode 1. And then Shane responds in a way that I think sort of hits Ilya because Shane's like, I've never seen that side of you. Because I don't think Ilya is actually lazy. I think that's
Yeah.
his dad being, not a great parent.
I also did want to say so Shane's here in the house, Ilya's house. The parameters have changed, and he goes and he hears Ilya talk to his dad. And I think that Shane asking him about his dad was him reaching out a little bit and, like, okay, Ilya changed these parameters. Let me try. And then Ilya, because it's a hard subject, he totally shuts it down. He
Yeah, but
totally shuts
like
it down.
he doesn't like shut it down very hard. He like
No, no, he
pivots.
doesn't. Yeah,
He
yeah,
pivots to affection, because like that is
yeah.
the moment where he gets the most affectionate we've seen him with Shane. Like he sits very close to Shane. He hugs him. He likes petting his Shane's hair, and they're both having a moment where they're kind of letting themselves for the first time be really intimate without the result of that being sex. Like they end up
Mhm.
in sex because I think they end up having sex because I think internally Shane is like, what are we doing? Why is this so soft? No, 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 let's sex. we're
Let's
gonna
go
have
back to
sex.
what we
Let's
know.
let's go back to what we know, because Shane, his brain can compute. But like for a moment there, I don't think Ilya was angling for sex during that moment. I think he was just being soft. Um,
Mhm.
really, really soft. And I think he probably even surprised himself. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, I think that combination, and I think again the way I think when Ilya asks, says the whole "I like girls, but I also like you," and then makes a joke. Again, he has to make a joke because Shane is uncomfortable. So he has to be
Yeah.
like not as a person really, because Shane is uncomfortable. But like I think if you as a viewer can clock how uncomfortable Shane is with a conversation about women, then Ilya clearly can clock it. I think this is part of
100%.
what later when in episode 5 when Shane comes out to Ilya, Ilya laughs, which is not really a good reaction. But to him, it is kind of ridiculous that Shane is telling him that he's gay when they've been having sex for these. Um, I don't want to really go into that because we'll talk about it when we get to the
No, no,
episode.
not even that. Not even that. I'm just waiting for you to finish your thought because I got a thought on that.
Go for it.
I was gonna say, I mean, okay, then the next thing, Rose. If Ilya is thinking that, if he's thinking, okay, I'm opening this door for Shane to talk about his sexuality. Shane is gay. Shane doesn't really like women. That's okay. It's gotta be shocking to the system to then see the guy who doesn't want to do your situationship anymore, then dating a girl.
Yeah, I think it's a couple of things because I think Ilya is clearly very, very jealous, and I think that's also probably clashing with his belief that Shane is gay. So
Mm-hmm.
I think he gets even angrier because he's like, "You don't
Yeah.
even like women. What are you doing?" Because then it maybe like that's why I think the standoff at the end is personal. Like Ilya sees Shane and he goes to get a girl because he's trying to send a message to Shane. Uh, because he feels that Rose is a message Shane is sending to him. Even though I don't think Rose is at all about Ilya. Rose is about Shane trying to find the girl that he is gonna break him out of being gay. He thinks that he's just experimenting, and when he finds the right girl, he'll stop. And he's trying, and I think the thing with Rose is that they click as friends right away, and Shane is like,
Yeah.
yes, this is what I needed. Uh, and then it's not. So, but like, I think Ilya takes that as Shane doing something to show him. So he responds in the same way. But like I think we still have to go back to that scene because like the thing that sort of breaks everything is Ilya saying Shane's name. Even though Ilya saying Shane's name and Shane says Ilya's name right away. Then kind of kisses him super soft and then pulls back and is like, what did I do? Oh my
It
god.
was just too
Like
real. That's it.
yes.
It was real, but it was like I said earlier. In that moment, it became real, and it was no longer Shane could hide behind. Oh, this is some experimentation. He realized in that moment, this is real. Oh my God, am I gay? I can't do this. Do I like this guy? Maybe I do. Crash out.
Yeah.
End scene.
Yeah, I think he crashes out bad. And I think we are supposed to realize that Ilya also crashes out bad. Like the scenes we see of Ilya after that tuna melt scene. Well, we see that both of them are having like a hard time because I think right after that tuna melt scene, Shane runs away. We see the scene with Shane and his parents.
Yeah.
Where he's been a little short with his parents that haven't really like I think in the show
Good for you.
his mom is a little too manager, but like his dad isn't. Like he's been a little short with them. They haven't really done anything to deserve it. And his dad is trying really hard to be like, you can tell me anything. And Shane's just not budging because he can't. But it's funny because at the beginning of that scene, they are for like as you go to a restaurant, always there's always like four placemats and for everything. And then the waiter comes and asks, "Are you expecting someone else?" And they say, "No, it's not just us three." And then they take away the other plate. And then the shot is framed in a way that I think supposed to parallel that scene in episode 6 where Ilya's there, and then there's not a space at the table anymore because Shane's side of the table is complete because he's not alone. It felt to me like it was supposed to
Hmm.
parallel that. I don't know if I caught it the first time I watched the episode, but like on rewatch, a couple of things like when you watch the full journey and you're just
Yeah.
going back, you're like, oh, this is like, because yeah, Shane, like you see that moment. Shane's parents have a moment after Shane gets up to go to the bathroom, and the dad's like, Swedish princess, and she's like, I'm trying, kind of like, and you can see come like the camaraderie between them.
Mhm.
And then Shane is missing that, and the parents know that Shane is missing that. They don't know that he already has it. You know that in
Yeah.
some way, even though not fully like he wanted, but in some way he's had it for years. I think that's when we get to the cottage and his parents find out. I think that's part of what throws them, um, that they miss so much of Shane. But in this moment, Shane is just too busy spiraling for anything. He's like, and then Ilya is spiraling, different types of spiraling. Shane is like, oh, he's like, I'm in a weird mood and whatever, and he throws himself into his relationship with Rose because I think that's easier for him. Meanwhile, Ilya is crashing out bad, pretending that
Oh,
he's
he's
not
staring
jealous.
forlornly, okay? He's, like, staring off into the distance of the ice. He's staring off at himself in a mirror, very creepy, like, which kudos to that person on TikTok who took that scene especially and made a creepy edit, like if A24 made Heated Rivalry, it was perfect. This episode had a lot of moments of them just, like, staring vacantly into something because there's a lot of things going
Yeah.
on behind those eyes, you know? Um,
There's a lot of good acting in this episode. Like I think
yeah.
um on the micro expressions, like we talked when we talked about the first episode, we talked about Hudson and Connor and how good they are. I think this is one of those episodes where so much is said without words.
Mhm.
Um and you're getting absolutely everything they're feeling. That's so
Mhm.
hard. I think we really gotta give props to the whole team behind Hidden Rivalry because I think part of the reason the show is so big is because there were no expectations that the show um was gonna be so nuanced, and then you could watch and rewatch like we're doing and find little things about it, and the acting and like the little acting choices you would still be discovering, like little acting choices um in your fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh rewatch. And that is what we're doing because I think there's a lot of intentionality behind every acting decision Hudson and Connor are making.
Lizzie,
Yeah.
that's what happens when you got $5 in a dream. You gotta make sure that your stuff is good. That's what Heated Rivalry was. $5 in a dream. They might have put all their money to get the rights for tattoos, all the things she said.
Maybe,
Uh,
but like you still gotta give props to casting because like when you
mhm.
have, like you said, the budget is not that big and it wasn't $5 obviously, but like you gotta cast the right people, and you gotta
Yeah.
cast the right people with the right chemistry for all of it. I think obviously Connor and Hudson are really good at their own characters. They're also really good together. They have a really believable chemistry. And then you compare it to something like Hudson acting against Sophie, who plays Rose. I think they have a really easy chemistry, but that one that feels like friends from the beginning. Like Shane is trying to get himself. They have a really interesting conversation. The first one they have when Rose is like, "Oh, these fries," and then he's like, "Two," because like TV, you know,
It feels
like
like camaraderie.
yes. And I don't think outside of Hayden who pushed, Shane doesn't really have that. So like it's easy
Mhm.
to get this in a girl and confuse it when that is what you're looking for.
Yeah.
He's looking to like a girl, and the moment he likes a girl, he's like, okay, this is romantic. Even though it's not. And like I think deep down he probably knows that. Um but
He's like, I'm gonna prove myself wrong.
he can kid himself till the moment they have sex. And then he's like, damn it. And then again, I'm jumping ahead, but like I think we're supposed to interpret that last shot as him needing to think of Ilya to to finish. Like I think that's it. How do you interpret it?
Girl.
Because like how do you
I mean, we
interpret?
are jumping. Look, honestly, I'm not gonna lie. I didn't even think of that. I did not think of that at all. I did not interpret that at all because I'm going to tell you, I was really, really focused on the fact that that camera is really up close on their face. They're really, really, 'cause just imagine as an actor, Hudson and Connor just like real up close. Sorry, I should have maybe thought of that before the podcast, but I was just thinking about the camera work. But I mean, that makes sense that, because Ilya was definitely thinking about Shane, and good
Absolutely.
on Shane for thinking of Ilya, but also, come on, with Rose, girl.
Yeah, you're supposed to. I think you're supposed to think that is what exactly Ilya is doing at the same time, and that Shane needs to think of Ilya to sort of finish. But like, obviously, we see that despite Ilya putting up a big sort of spectacle in the club, he doesn't really actually take anyone home. He doesn't want to go home with a girl. He
Yeah.
went home alone, and probably a little like he's thinking about Shane in the shower.
After
Um,
staring at him hardcore
After staring
at
at
the
him
club.
hardcore, yeah, at the club, and like we're gonna talk about the club because I have a lot of questions. First of all, what were you doing, Miles? And why wasn't Shane complaining about this guy kissing his neck? Because like he was all up on Shane when he was dancing with Rose. It's like,
Yeah.
is Shane like heteronormativity is gonna fix this? Because like I feel like Shane might have been like, considering how confused he was at that moment, he probably would have been like, why is this guy so
I
close
don't
to
think
me?
he even realized there was someone behind him
Maybe
because Ilya was there. He didn't even realize Rose was in front of him.
he didn't realize that that happened before he saw Ilya though, and he didn't see Ilya right away. Like we see how aware they are both of each other in that scene because Ilya
Nah.
goes to the bar. No, yeah, let me. I wrote down the steps.
No,
Ilya
the neck
goes to
kissing happens after he sees Ilya.
Ilya goes to the bar, sees
Uh,
Miles, clocks him right away as
how
Rose's
does he
friend
know Miles,
because he's
first
a
of all?
stalker. Okay,
So
he's
he's
been
been
stalking.
online.
He's been stalking Rose and Shane. He probably has every paparazzi site. Like he's got
He's got
U.S.
a Google
Weekly
alerts.
people. He's got Google alerts on Shane Hollander and Rose Landry. He's like
Okay.
every so he can clock that that's Rose's friend, and he turns
And then
around
he
and he
looks in the
looks
crowd.
for Shane.
Where
And
is he? Where is
Shane
he?
clocks the other Boston players before
Uh-huh.
Ilya and then realizes Ilya must be around and looks for him. So they're both a little, obsessed.
That's what I'm
But yeah,
saying. Shane wouldn't realize there's some guy behind him because he's looking for Ilya.
but the guy is already behind him before he starts looking for Ilya.
No, he wasn't. He was not kissing up on him. It
No,
could have just
I
been
think he
fulanito.
I think he was kissing up on him after, but he was already very close. I don't know. That's the only
It's a
part that
club.
like that to me, yes, but like does Shane Hollander sound like the kind of person who actually frequents clubs that much and is used to people grinding on him, especially men?
True. Look, I'm gonna just play it off. As soon as he saw somebody else from Ilya's team, nothing mattered. Okay,
Yeah.
nothing mattered.
Yeah, like yeah, that's
Where is my man?
yeah, and
Who
then
is not my man because I walked out of our situationship.
I mean, to be fair, at this point, the one who stopped the situationship and the reason they're not anything is Shane.
Yeah,
So
man.
if Ilya's acting like he's a scorned girlfriend, it's because he is. Like he's trying to prove something to Shane because Shane is the one that left. So yeah,
Yeah.
he gets the girl and he's like, look, poor girl. Okay, I mean, she was fine. She was
Both
right
of the
where
women.
she was fine. That girl was right where she wanted to be, but like Ilya was literally not even looking at her. He was like staring straight on at Shane, who like I think was being a little obvious because you went to maybe it's a bar, no one's a club, no one's thinking about what other people are doing, but Shane was like stood in the middle of the thing. I think
Lizzie, I'm
no,
intrometida. I would have clocked that thing. I'm like,
right, like okay. Question. Considering how obvious it is, I don't know if we are supposed to believe they are not actually standing there staring at each other, and that part is a metaphor. Because I think that's a valid interpretation too. I think they might be passing each other more quickly than we're seeing, and we are seeing it in slow mo. Uh, and that is
it
a
could be a
trick,
little
a
slow
trick
mo.
of a directing trick for us to just give us the
To give us
the
like,
heightened
oh, everything froze at that moment. We locked eyes and time stopped kind of thing. But time
Right, like
didn't
the
actually
heightened
stop.
emotions. Exactly. Kind of like, but we are seeing it as if time kind of
Yeah.
stopped. I think that's a valid interpretation of time
Okay.
didn't really stop, but for them it stopped.
It felt like time stopped. It felt like
um,
I also do want to say that when Shane clocks eyes like locks eyes with Ilya, I looked at Rose's face for a second and there was something in her face like she noticed that his attention was elsewhere. Um
do you think? Well, I mean, she'll put the pieces together really quickly. Maybe the last piece she needed was when they actually had sex, and she was like, because then Shane will say in the cottage episode, he'll say that both the times they tried to have sex was a disaster. We only see one of them, but like, if they were a disaster, like I think those are enough clues for someone like Rose to put it together. The thing is, even if Rose caught Shane looking at something, I don't think she caught that it was Ilya. Because when she has a conversation with Shane, next episode, she's not saying specifically Ilya. She's just trying to talk about his sexuality. So I
okay.
don't think she clocked the person specifically. She clocked Shane, not necessarily
Not locked
Shane,
in on the moment with
not locked in
her
on
at
the
the moment.
moment, and Ilya. Like, yeah, she might
And
have
then later
because,
on when they're having sex, not locked into that moment either. Because
yeah.
if those two times were a mess, those were the only two times. We just saw the moment where it was all sexy and her going up the stairs, sexy like, and them having sex, but we didn't see it from her perspective or
Mm,
the build up or if
But
they had
but
any little trouble.
but poor Shane,
But it was
even
a
when
disaster.
she's taking off her clothes and she looks amazing. Shane's like,
Amazing.
he's like gulping. He's like, let me get ready for this. I can do it. I can do it. I can. Oh, Shane, it's
Shane,
like the his he had a
pobrecito.
panic face. It's like that not like I think that should have been the moment. He
That
should have
should
been
have been a
like
sign.
he should have been like I'm gay because I'm like psyching myself up to go up these stairs. Like that's
But I guess if you lie to yourself long enough, you're like, I can do this. I can do this. You can, but you shouldn't because you don't like her like that.
yeah,
Um,
it's also a little unfair on her. I know she's not taking it like personally, like but it's a little unfair on her. Like um because I mean Shane doesn't fully know, but like he's got an idea and he's still
mm-hmm.
kind of like trying to kid himself and like try to tell himself a story that is not true, which is why it's good that next episode we'll see Rose be like, no, this is not like I'm not gonna be your beard. Like, what are we doing
Yep.
here? And that is a good thing and a good thing that a friend would do. But yeah, in this
Yep.
episode, Shane's just like he's trying to live this lie, and then Ilya is also trying to pretend that he's not jealous even as he's like running into things and like clearly stalking, like he's probably following Rose Landry, like Rose Landry's fan sites on Twitter, like and he's got alerts
Ay,
and
Dios
like
mío. He's
that
got a
show him everything.
Tumblr.
He's probably got a burner, but he couldn't follow him from his own account.
Duh.
So, but Ilya sounds like the type of person who would have
Oh, he would
a
have the
burner.
nastiest Twitter because he just needs to let off some steam, okay? He just
Yeah,
needs to let off some steam. Nobody needs to know what's on that Twitter besides him
yeah.
and the ex
Shane
gods or whatever it's called.
She never checks social media. Ilya goes on a spiral on social
Ah,
media every night before bed. He's searching his name. He's searching Shane's name. Um, and the hockey players sometimes do these things. Like people do these things, fan cams and like fight compilations and best goal compilations. I've seen a
yeah.
lot of them for hockey. I bet Ilya has them favorite on YouTube. Shane's compilations, and he's like I mean, it's a little disturbing the things I can imagine them
Yeah,
doing.
giving a thumbs down, whatever he sees to anything with Rose, her movies. Let me give it
He's
like
got
a
a burner. Yes, he's got a
one
letterbox
star
where he's like
letterbox.
1 star. She's a really bad actress. Can't act.
Which,
Um,
look, that doesn't mean Ilya's a bad person. That means he's human and he doesn't know how to express what's going on, but also he's got nobody to talk to about
Right.
this. I don't know what I would do, and that's between him and his internet service provider.
No, he really has no one to talk about it. The same way Shane, I mean, I think up to a point he can with Rose, but like Shane isn't really being himself as much. Like I think a little
Yeah.
with Hayden, but like just think back to the scene on the couch where Shane makes a joke about whether Ilya can find other women to sleep with them, and Ilya's like, oh, and people say you're not funny because he
Ah!
is. He's the
He'll say,
it's
"Who
funny.
are the people? Who are the people? I'm
Oh
the
no,
people."
I also wanted to bring up, and I forgot when we were talking about it, that at that point, Ilya brings up how boring Shane is. And he says that
Yeah.
Shane is boring before when he's watching the documentary that he still watches. And I find that interesting because I think Shane takes it a little bit as an insult, Ilya saying he's boring.
Mm.
And I think for Ilya, it's not a bad thing. I think she is boring and he likes boring. I think when you've had the kind of life Ilya has had, with the family he has, and nothing is predictable, and nothing like, and things continue to hurt you. He says boring, and he thinks of it as a predictable and kind of safe. And like I actually
Mm.
think boring for him is not an insult, and sometimes I think Shane might take it as one. But Ilya, and obviously I don't think Ilya capable of one or wants at that point to
Yeah.
put the real weight behind when he says Shane is boring. But like the way he smiles when he's saying that Shane is boring, or like the way he smiles when Shane is doing a boring thing, like the way he smiles when Shane is doing anything. We also in this episode get a little smile from Ilya when Shane wins the cup. The same thing
Yeah.
we got from Shane when Ilya won the cup, which kind of shows they're happy for the other despite the fact that they are rivals, and like there's this whole rivalry built around them. They're happy about each other. So I think, yeah, that whole boring thing for Ilya is actually kind of like a compliment. Um,
And things would be fixed if they just talked.
but like, isn't that every romance? Like, we gotta think of this as sort of
Yeah.
like the standard in the romance genre. Most of the romance genre is if these two people talk to each other, things will be fixed. So the people won't talk to each other because then things will be fixed.
And
Um,
we would not have 6
we
episodes.
would not have 6 episodes and a sequel.
Yeah.
So to give us more seasons. So yeah, they obviously can talk to each other quickly otherwise. And I think honestly, like let me be honest, despite the fact that there's a miscommunication fake in a lot of pining and a lot of Shane lying to himself, being like, if I say it's not like this, it is not like this, which has never worked in the history of the world.
Yep.
Despite that, I don't think this is a really angsty show or a really angsty book. Like the level of angst is still mild. There are
Yeah.
way more angsty, but I read angstier fics than what this show really is.
Oh, yeah. And
The
season 2 is gonna be angstier.
right, but like I think the level of angst is kind of like mid, even like lower than that. Like I think it's kind of like a maybe that's part of what has made the show so easy for people, even people who might not be as much into the romance genre, because I think the show is it's a very easy watch, and in some ways a comforting watch, and in some ways even if you're not struggling with the same things Shane and Ilya are, even if you're
Mhm.
not struggling with your sexuality, you might be struggling with something, and there's a level of relatability to not knowing yourself. Uh,
Yeah.
I also think there are a lot of people. Like, I mean, I don't want to. I feel like what Shane is going through is actually really really relatable. Like, I think I remember when the show came out, there were a lot of conversations about how could he not know that he was gay, especially in the context of he's been sleeping with Ilya for all of these years. How can he not know? And I think self delusion is a very powerful drug. And
Yep.
heteronormative, I think we got to understand that there's a level of internalized homophobia and shame um, that sees being gay as something bad that he can
Mhm.
be cured of if he finds the right woman, which is why he goes all in on Rose because he thinks this is going to fix him. This woman is gonna fix
Yep.
him.
Yeah. I also it goes back to like people wondering why women like heated rivalry so much. I'm gonna be honest with you. I fast forwarded through the sex scenes because I was like, let's just get to the real stuff. Because the real stuff isn't the sexy. The real stuff is the intimacy for me, and it's the struggles that they go through, and their
But
reflections of themselves or the relationships with family. At
but
least for
I'll
me.
argue there's a lot of intimacy in the sex scenes, um, in this show, which is I
Mm,
think part of what works. Like um I paid attention like I paid attention on rewatch more than I wanted. Sometimes I felt
real
like
close,
no, but like I think that's what
like
I
a
was talking about.
voyeur.
Yeah, I felt like why am I some of
Well, I
them
mean,
felt very real.
the
But I think there's a lot of intimacy there. And we
the
talked
one on
about
the
it when we
couch.
yeah,
Yeah.
there's a lot of intimacy there. And I think we talked about it when we talked about the first time they actually have sex too. There's a lot of intimacy in that scene, like the
Mm-hmm.
little moments, which is why I think we gotta give a lot of props to the actors, to the intimacy coordinator. I don't know if people
Shout
think
out.
they're doing this by themselves. This is choreographed.
Yeah.
There's a lot of move this way and move that way and do this so it looks better that goes
Or
with
even Shane getting into the bed. When Shane got into the bed and you saw his
yes.
butt, and the way that that's coordinated, that's an intimacy coordinator.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah.
Them laying in bed together, cuddling up, intimacy coordinator. So, like, yeah, it is. I feel like gratuitous sex. I'm like, I feel like in the beginning of them being on the couch, I was like a little fast forwarded. But Heated Rivalry goes to show you that sex can be intimate and it could be fun and it could be silly. Like, if you're not
Yeah.
laughing during sex, are you really doing it? I don't know.
Yeah, yeah. I thought this was um again, I paid attention in a way that
A
felt
lot of
like
attention.
uncomfortable for me because I'm not usually the type to pay that much attention to. Because, but like, it's because I've realized that there's so much in like little moments that they're
Yeah.
doing, the micro expressions again, um, and also because I really wanted to make a point because I have seen some takes that I have muted and decided to disappear from my consciousness about how like how much they got into it. Like no, this is a very technical thing. Sex scenes, like fight scenes on TV are heavily choreographed.
Mm-hmm.
It is, of course, way easier to do an intimate scene with a partner you like and trust. Because, yes, there is a level of trust required to this choreography because you're naked and it's uncomfortable. And if you trust and care for the person who is doing all of this with you, it's easier, obviously. But this is still a choreography.
Yeah.
In how you move, in like the sounds you make, everything is choreographed. And sometimes the technical notes you get from the intimacy coordinator are like make this sound or make this face or your face needs to be doing this. It's not like most times it's not like actors came up with this. Yeah, actors. It's a collaborative process. Actors can
Mm-hmm.
suggest what if we do this, what if this is looks better or whatever. But like yeah, there's a high level of choreography to all of this that I think people miss sometimes.
Yeah. Okay. So if you would describe this episode of Heated Rivalry only using AO3 tags, what would they be?
Hmm. Pining, pining for
Okay.
sure.
Okay.
uh
Okay.
I mean miscommunication is mhm,
Misunderstanding. Yeah.
yeah, miscommunication for sure. I don't know, let me think.
I think those are
um
two good ones, honestly.
yeah, because like I mean I would do some of those tags that each fandom has. Um,
Oh, hurt, no comfort.
I mean, yeah, this is probably hurt. No, like the episode ends. I remember when Lyra and I have both had screeners, so I remember we got the screener, and this was, I think, the worst one to end on of all the episodes. I don't
Mm,
know. I think two ends. Uh, no, maybe two was worse because the problem with two is it ends in Vegas, and then we didn't
yeah.
even kiss, and then it jumps to Scott and Kip, and you're like, But for us, I'm sorry I'm boring you, Lyra.
I'm sorry. It was just there. I'm really comfortable. The sun is setting right next to my face. Okay,
It's funny.
continue.
Sorry. Um, I don't even know what I was saying because I was making
That's
fun
what
of
you
you.
get. That's what you get.
What was I saying?
I don't know, man. I know I was on my AO3 tags.
We were on AO3 tags.
Hurt No Comfort,
Yeah, her no
episode
comfort.
2.
Oh no, I was talking about how episode 2 was probably worse in waiting time than episode 4.
Mm,
But episode 4 felt like really, really bad waiting after it ended. Maybe because Shane is like episode 2 ended and they were still together. It was a bad moment for both of them. But
yeah.
presumably they were still together, the relationship was still going on, and then here they are in their kind of broken up era. Don't Can you really break up if you were
They
never
did break up,
together?
Lizzie.
Can you break up a situationship?
Yeah, I mean, with this tag, a situationship has to be a tag. Friends with benefits, or are we friends, but we still have benefits?
Benefits, no friends. No, I think I think I'd make that a tag. I think it's fair to say that at this point they're moving. If not, like it took them a while. They were only having sex at the beginning. I think at this point, when Shane's asking about his dad, about Ilya's dad, they're talking casually about hockey.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I think,
Making tuna melts.
yeah, I think they're friends. I just think they also know each other better, like we talked about before. There's a thing when you are in constant contact with someone, and it's not just having sex. They've been texting for seven
Mm-hmm.
years and yeah, some of it is sexting, but not all of it. Some of it is
Yeah.
um teasing each other. Some of them is sharing things. Like, we don't see all of their texts. I also imagine they're
I mean, in the
exchanging
book,
stickers.
do we have more than that?
We have a little more, but like we also don't see all of their text throughout the course of the.
Ah,
It's not like every time they're texting, it's being transcribed for us. So
shame.
yeah, like I don't know. I imagine Ilya sending memes or stuff like that to Shane because he seems like the type who would like, I don't know, cat memes or something. Like he'd
Wow.
do a thing.
He
He'd
would
see it.
send Shane really boring memes. And he'd be like,
Wow.
these are the most boring memes I've ever seen in my life. And the thing is, Shane would find them delightful. Be like, oh my God.
Maybe he was in a boring meme and be like, "This you?"
Look, I found a video of you. Oh,
Yes.
that's on point.
Yeah. I
Listen, you
mean,
got an
but
AO3 account. Get on it, girl.
I don't have time. Okay, I don't have time to write
I
fic
won't
and
tell anybody.
just like, what is Lucy doing? She's writing fic. I don't have time. Not really. I don't have time. But yeah, I think they are friends at this point. They are probably each other's best friend. It's like they're gonna wake up after the cottage and then they'll be like, oh my god, Hayden's gonna be real mad that Ilya is Shane's best
But
friend.
that's that's a future problem. Future problem. But Hayden
Hey,
got his kids to take care of. He don't got take care
but
of that first.
yeah, then we're gonna get Uncle Shane and then Uncle Ilya. He's gonna have a lot of problems. Okay, wait. Going back to Hayden. Okay, I just want to trash Hayden a little bit. I actually don't hate Hayden Pike. Okay, it might seem like I do, but I don't. I promise. But like again, how did this man not figure it out? To be fair, he does figure it out later. But um, how
I
did
mean,
he?
like you said earlier, he's got 4 kids, 3 kids, 1 on the way. I don't think he got time.
But
You
like,
barely have time to live your life. And you right now, you just said you didn't want to write that fan fiction because you had no time.
yes, but like figuring out my friends, like he's just
Uh,
not. If okay, let me just say
He's
this.
got human
If
lives to worry
if
about.
Shane had a Latino best friend, he would have been found out year 2. Because Hayden is not chismoso enough. Okay,
Mm,
we would have
that
like,
is true.
wouldn't you have like if I were
I would have
doing
been
that?
like,
Wouldn't
I'm
you have been like,
busy.
Lizzie, what are you doing? Like I'm busy, but like I have time to notice how weird you being.
No,
So
no, 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 no. Backtrack, backtrack. I wouldn't even ask you, okay? I'd watch you. I would compile
as
evidence
evidence,
and then present a PowerPoint.
a PowerPoint and everything.
Yes, with photos. And
That's
then
what
you would have to question, oh my God, is my friend a stalker?
but you would have found out because I wouldn't like Shane looks like the type of person that if you confront him with it, he could like. I don't think it's fair to say that either Shane or Ilya were good liars. Yeah, they kept the secrets for a long time, but not because they were good liars, but because they were doing a thing that was so outrageous that no one even came close to guessing. Because I
Yep.
think if someone came close to guessing, they'd crumble right away. I don't think
It
Shane can be
was, yep.
like
It was so outside the realm of possibility. That's how they got away with it.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's it.
So,
That's it.
yeah, because I don't.
That's
Shane would have crumbled right away if someone
He
was like,
crumbled at the door when Hayden was asking him, like, wasn't even asking him. Shane had to announce that he was going in his
but
pretty
he
little
didn't have to
outfit.
announce. He had a like, didn't he have a? Why is
He had
he
a cute
dressing?
outfit.
Yes, why is he dressing so nice? He's to
Whatever.
a
He
booty
folded his
call, to
clothes.
a booty call,
He's got standards, okay, Lizzie?
to a booty call. And also,
Standards.
okay, I have a very important question that isn't actually that important. He walked out of Ilya's house in Ilya's clothes. Do you think he kept them? Did he send them back? Did he mail them back all petty the next day? It's like, here
No,
are you.
I don't think he mailed them petty. I think he mailed them because it was the right thing to do. And he doesn't wear that size. And he doesn't wear that color,
But
okay?
like, if you were Shane, wouldn't you keep it? Like you'd make yourself be like, I have to send them back, and then you wouldn't. And then also, if he left in those clothes, did he leave his clothes in Ilya's house?
Yes, and then Ilya smelled them.
Yes, and Ilya did not mail them back.
Ilya was like, he's never getting these things back. They're mine now.
When they actually start dating, Shane opens Ilya's closet at some point and find his clothes, and it's like, what is this doing here? I'd forgotten about it. And then they're there. Ilya has them
Ilya's like, I don't know what you're
folded,
talking about. It's always been there.
folded. He kept them folded like Shane left them folded, or like he smelled them and put them back, folded them exactly the same way. So
You
they
know what
were,
tag this is, Lizzie?
but
Freak for freak.
oh,
That's what
but
it
like
is.
that, I think that is a tag that should go on everything that we talk about them because they are really freak for freak. Um, yeah, they are like they're the definition of freak for freak. Let's be honest.
Yep.
Um, their dynamics in general are very freak for freak. They're we see it in this episode at the beginning. Ilya is scoring a hat trick and making fun. Like, think about it in normal terms. This person is beating you at what you do best in a competitive
Mm-hmm.
environment, and you're angry, and then you go have sex like nothing. Like that is, I think we have to consider the possibility that every part of the rivalry was foreplay. They
Yeah,
were
yeah,
they they treated it as foreplay.
pretty
Um.
much.
So
Yeah, I can
yeah,
see them. I don't
yeah.
have anything else to add. Do you have anything else to add?
I mean, not really, other than I think this is again, I said this about episode two. I think episode two was better than I remembered it in first watch, but I think I trying to remember how Heated Rivalry sort of entered the general consciousness. I think this episode is the episode that sort of lit up people's brains. I don't think this is the best episode of the season, but I think this was the episode sort of grabbed people because I think that club scene is so well done and is so cinematic that it's very easy to sell all those AO3 tags that we talked about
And the
are little.
song.
Yes, but like all those AO3 tags that we talked about are literally in both of their faces during that scene.
Mm-hmm.
Um, if you had to pick 30 seconds of Heated Rivalry to sell Heated Rivalry to someone who hasn't watched it, you'd probably pick the club scene, wouldn't you?
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. It's very concise, compact, shows like the heat.
And their feelings are clearly in their face, which again, kudos to acting, because they are not even giving pining in the same way, which you shouldn't, because you're two different characters and two different people. uh they're giving pining in their own way. So again, kudos to acting, kudos to directing. But yeah, I think this episode is sort of the episode. After this, I saw the show kind of blow up, and Lyra and I were watching in real time and I know we had a conversation before the show even came out that we both thought this show was gonna be big. But it was kind of fun to watch it like explode week by week, and not feel like alone in our Lyra and I watch every episode together. We sometimes try to do these things with the screeners where we kind of sync them and go like play to try to play them at the same moment so we can text each other our reactions more or less like we were live tweeting, like we were watching something together, even though we are not on the same place. We
Yeah.
watched this episode together, and I kind of remember our reaction to the club scene and the song. I think also
Oh,
we
I
are
crashed out.
because we are the generation that crashes out with that song. We are
Uh,
literally, that song is our generation. I don't know if you're younger than us and you had to Google the song when it came out. You were like, "What
which
song is this?"
welcome?
Lara and I did not have to Google the song. We listened to the song and it pinged our brains, and we were like, "Yeah, this is a song of our people." Uh, so
Pretty much.
yeah, and now that I
Pretty
said that,
much.
didn't you give I the last thing I wanted to say? It gave me a vibe of that scene in Red, White, and Royal Blue where Alex and Harry are looking at each other, and then the music sort of stopped, and everyone like gets down, and they're just looking at each other, and they're the only two in the party
I don't.
before they in the party
Yeah,
before
yeah,
they
yeah.
kiss. And then there's a moment where everyone's dancing and the music does like this, and then everyone sort of like gets that because they're the song, and then they're just looking at each other. I was like, yeah, like all of my gay boyfriends are looking at each other the same way.
Pretty much. Time
Yeah,
stopped. It was just them.
yeah, and yeah, I think it's beautiful.
It is beautiful. But I think that's the natural end of this episode of our Heated Rivalry podcast. If you want to follow us, learn more, definitely follow us on our Instagram at Heated Rivalry Podcast. Of course, subscribe, like, all that stuff. Uh,
That
but
Lyra
more than
always forgets.
I
No,
forget,
now
whatever.
she.
I'm vibing, okay? I'm vibing. No,
Mm.
but if anything, just thank you for spending the hour plus with us. And if you cannot watch the video and sit down, all of that, we are on Spotify and Apple Podcast now. So definitely make sure to check that out. Um, Same name, He Did Rivalry Podcast. But again, thank you so much. And you have a wonderful rest of your day.
And no,
Bye. Oh,
drink some water, please. I'm
yes.
sure you haven't drank enough water today because I haven't, and I'm sure Lyra hasn't. So go drink some water.
How dare you?
I'm sorry for calling you out. Bye.
Bye.